An interesting system of equation we need to solve, and looking at the structure of the trigonometric, looking at the structure of the system of equation, we can plan for a trigonometric identity here, and that identity is going to be cot alpha minus 1 by cot alpha. Let's see that what is the simplified value of this. So we can see that cot alpha is cos alpha upon sin alpha, and 1 by cot alpha is nothing but sin alpha by cos alpha. So if we simplify, it will come out to be cos square alpha minus sin square alpha divided by sin alpha into cos alpha. So just to get the multiple angle structure, we will multiply numerator and denominator by 2. So ultimately we are getting this to be equivalent to 2 cos 2 alpha divided by sin 2 alpha. So the result we can claim here is going to be 2 cot 2 alpha. So this is the identity which is basically going to be used for solving each and every system as set of equations in the system. Like we can see that if I put x1 to be cot alpha, if I assume x1 to be cot alpha, then 1 by x1 will be 1 by cot alpha. So x2 will come out to be cot 2 alpha. And then in the next equation, when we'll be putting x2 to be cot 2 alpha, 1 by x2 will become 1 by cot 2 alpha. So x3 will come out to be cot of double of 2 alpha, that is 4 alpha. Then when again in the third equation we'll be putting x3 by cot 4 alpha, 1 by x3 will be 1 by cot 4 alpha. Then magically x4 will come out to be cot double of 4 alpha, that is 8 alpha. And finally in the fourth equation, when we'll be putting x4 by cot 8 alpha, 1 by x4 will be 1 by cot 8 alpha. x1 will come out to be cot of double of 8 alpha, that is 16 alpha. So we have started by assuming x1 to be cot alpha, and finally after completing the entire chain, we are again getting back the value of x1 to be cot 16 alpha. So all the four equations will be simultaneously satisfied if we can just claim that cot 16 alpha, one value of x1, the final value of x1, is equal to cot alpha, the initial value of x1. Okay, the final value and the initial value of x1 must match so that all the four equations get simultaneously satisfied. Now to solve this particular trigonometric equation, we can go for general solution. So 16 alpha equal to n pi plus alpha, where n belongs to the set of integer. So 15 alpha is equal to n pi. So the value of alpha will come out to be n pi upon 15. Okay, so this will be the value of alpha. So basically in this system, you see that once we get the value of x1 to be cot alpha, then automatically x2, x3, x4 can be calculated because they will be just double the angles, like cot 2 alpha, cot 4 alpha, cot 8 alpha. So we will be just finding out the solution for x1. So if you want to find the solution of x1, then the solution set of x1 can be easily written down as, like the structure of alpha is n pi by 15. So we will be putting the values of n to be starting from 1, because we cannot take n to be 0. In that case, cot alpha will be undefined. So we'll be taking n equal to 1. So the corresponding value of x1 will be cot pi by 15 for n equal to 1. Similarly, for n equal to 2, the value of x1 will be cot 2 pi by 15. Then for n equal to 3, the value of alpha is cot, the value of alpha is 3 pi by 15. So value of x1 is cot 3 pi by 15. And in this way, we will get the consecutive values of x1 to be cot pi by 15, 2 pi by 15, 3 pi by 15, 4 pi by 15. And the chain will continue up to n equal to 14. And corresponding to n equal to 14, we'll be getting cot 14 pi by 15. Okay. And after that, we can see that n equal to 15, if I substitute, then alpha will come out to be pi and cot alpha again will be undefined. And starting from n equal to 16, we can see that the angle is getting crossed by pi. Okay. So basically, we are only interested about the angles within the interval 0 to pi, because this is one periodic interval of cotangent function. So within the one periodic interval of cotangent function, we'll consider all the cotangent values, because after the interval of pi, all the angles corresponding to every angle, the cotangent value will start repeating, because after one periodic interval it will start repeating. So these are the values of cotangent that we need to consider for getting the value of x1. Okay, and once we get the value of x1, the other values of x2, x3, x4 can easily be obtained just by doubling the angles. So if we take one particular set, like if I take the first particular set, the corresponding x2 will become cot 2 pi by 15, double the angle. x3 will be cot 4 pi by 15, double the previous angle, and x4 will be cot 8 pi by 15. Okay, and similarly for the other set of equations, other set of solutions for x1, we can get the value of x2, x3, x4. So finally, in a nutshell, we can predict that the solution is going to be x1 equal to cot r pi by 15, x2 equal to cot 2r pi by 15, x3 equal to cot 4r pi by 15, and x4 equal to cot 8r pi by 15, where r is a natural number starting from 1 up to 15. So this will be the final answer.